Namaste. It is Monday, October 3rd, and surprise, this is my lunchtime. I'm coming to you during work today. I take a very late lunch. I'm on Eastern time, and I take lunch from 3 to 4. Just is what it is. I guess working from home, I can eat whenever I want, so I take my break when I find that I can get things done, and this is a good time in case I need to pick grandkids up from the bus stop or something like that. I can do that. So that's one of the reasons why I take lunch at this time. But the reason why I'm doing this is that I am making an effort to learn editing, and I did shoot a walk and talk vlog this morning, and it was horrible. And I said, okay, I've got to stop this. So I'm creating this particular vlog to experiment with, but I'm also going to put out some interesting information on this particular vlog that's important to me. So as I continue on my vlogging journey, there are a couple of things coming up. As a third stage goddess, there's so many things that I can talk about that are relevant to people my age. Of course, I do more or less tend to focus on women of a certain age because that's what I know. And women definitely have massive shifts physically, emotionally, hormonally. All of these things happen during this stage of life, more so than with a man. Their changes are much different than women. So I obviously am much more able to speak towards women. So that being said, one of the things that we have to address is, is finances. And this is something that's huge, with myself returning to the workforce after raising my children and thankfully having a full-time job. And, I can't complain about my job. The only sad thing is that I'm still at a level where most of my peers are in their 20s, because that's where I am, returning to work after being at home for decades with children. But neither here nor there. But one of the main things that I think about a lot is my financial future and retirement. Oh my gosh, one day I do want to retire. I'm in no hurry to retire because the reality is I do like to feel useful. I need an occupation, and I love getting a steady paycheck. And my job, I do know that I'm doing good for others, and I do help people. So that definitely, it's a good thing. As much as I would love to have all this free time, I know the reality is, if I was not working full time, I would probably be engaged in a lot more childcare with my grandchildren. There's so many things that I find that I know that I would be doing, and I think that honestly, I'm in a good place. I have a good job. My husband is semi-retired. Or unemployed, whichever way you want to put it, semi-retired. I tease him all the time saying he's unemployed, but he's semi-retired, and he right now is not working. He's taking over management of his rental properties, which is time consuming. So I guess that in itself is also a job. So I shouldn't say that, but something I've been working towards for several years really is setting myself up for retirement, setting myself up for old age. Whoop, earbud problem. But these things become very relevant. I do not have decades of work. In a 401k. I don't have a salary that reflects decades of work. I really, after my divorce, I really, for a woman my age, I really didn't have much. I think the biggest thing is not having that investment in a career was my number one, I don't want to say mistake. I do not regret staying home and raising my children. I don't regret it for a second. But I know that had I been a little bit more active in maintaining my field of study or keeping my foot in the door somehow definitely would have been helpful. So I really did start over, and I finally got to that point in my mid-50s where I just said, this is ridiculous. I got to go back to school. I got to get another degree, something more relevant. Getting my degree was definitely satisfying. And yes, it did help me get this job. So I know that it was beneficial, but the reality is, of course, I'm decades behind a lot of people who had a career, but I know I'm not the only one, the only third stage goddess who is at this place in my life where I am in a relatively new career, where I am a little bit behind some other people. But again, I don't regret the way I've lived my life. Matter of fact, I'm very happy with my legacy, and I'm so fortunate to have the family that I have. And that took work, and it was an investment. So it is definitely paying off. So that being said, back to the R word, the retirement, looking towards the future, being able to take care of ourselves. There's a couple of things that have been with me actually my entire adult life, which really come into play even more so now at this stage in my life. And I kind of boiled it down to three words, three little bullet points, things that are important to me. And this is definitely financial. This affects me, how I live, how I deal with my finances, and just my general outlook on money and pretty much everything, how I live my life. One is it's important to be environmentally friendly, to be green, to be sustainable, to not do more harm to the environment than already has been done. I try to minimize my impact, my carbon footprint, and things like that. So I get myself to a point where, I don't drive. I maybe drive once a week. I don't really drive my car. I work from home. I walk. I ride my bike. I live in an area where it's feasible for me to not have to drive my car. I can even grocery shop on my bicycle if I choose. So decisions I make affect the environment, and things I buy, the way I act, my lifestyle, all of this I strive to be as environmentally friendly and sustainable as possible. Two is resourcefulness. I've known for decades that if there was one word, if I could describe myself, I'm bagging it with that. That's just not working. If there was one word I could use to describe myself, it is resourceful. I really have a way of taking advantage of working with what I have and creating what I want from what I have. And not only creating what I want from what I have, but wanting what I have and not wanting things beyond that. I'm going to get that earbud. I don't know if it'll help or not, but I'm going to put it back in, even though I said I wasn't. But resourcefulness is important. It's an important trait for me because I think it's so important to be resourceful, and particularly when you don't want to spend a lot of money, and utilizing your resources that you already have is definitely a very environmentally friendly way to live. So I've always considered myself very resourceful. If there was something I wanted, I would find a way to create it out of something I already have, or find a way to make it happen. I've been very good about that in my life. And number three is my favorite, is frugality. I am very frugal. I'm not cheap, but I am very frugal. And I'm proud of my frugality, and I've honed it very well after many decades. And this is serving me well as I'm moving into this latter stage of my life, as I'm creating a household and my future. I'm setting myself up for my future. I'm present and enjoying the day today, but I'm also living with an eye towards the future and how I want to be able to maintain my lifestyle and sustain my lifestyle. All of these things are important. So a big part of that is frugality. I try to manage my money in a very responsible way. I do not buy new things. I very rarely buy anything new. I only buy something new when it's absolutely necessary. Like I'm looking at it right now, and eventually I'm going to need a new laptop, which really drives me crazy, but I'm going to need to upgrade. But as far as, anything else in my life, clothing, I don't, I'm not a big shopper. Matter of fact, I tell my grandchildren, I know this is horrible, but I feel like going into a shopping mall or I feel like I get hives. It just gives me the willies. The consumerism that I can see, that just the capitalism at work in malls and buying new things and always having to have new things. It's just not me, and I'm not comfortable with that. I do buy a couple of new clothing items a year, not many. I'd say the only clothing items I ever purchase new, underwear. But other than that, I do a lot of exercising and bicycling, and sometimes you really do have to buy new cycling clothes, or I do wear a lot of athletic clothes. I don't want to say athleisure, although my athletic clothes do kind of go into that athleisure, because here I am at work and I wear my running tights and my the shirt this is a multi-purpose. This is something I bought new. I think I bought it back in maybe 2019. I think I bought it from Athleta, which is one of the few places I do buy new from, just because they serve me well. They serve my lifestyle well. They fit well, and they last. I mean, I think I've worn this. This is my third winter going on with this, I think, and I throw it in the washing machine and I wear it all the time. I wear it to exercise. I've even worn it under sweaters to look nice. It's got the little hand things, and it's not perfect. I have to take a little thing and kind of depill it every now and again, but it's still working. So I digress. But frugality is very important to me. I try to be frugal in my grocery shopping. I cook. I do believe in homemade food. And I thrift. I go thrifting. It's, to me, it's a way that I can creatively express myself through fashion or home decor, kitchenware, all of these things. Even though, as I said, I want to be sustainable and environmentally friendly, I am also the same person who likes to have, I have curtains for the summer and curtains for the winter, and I decorate, and I even have different dishes for different seasons, and all of this is only possible because of the fact that I do thrift. I don't buy anything new. I use something, and when I'm done using it, I do take care of my things, and when I'm done using it, either it's completely used up, or I can donate it back again so someone else can use it. So I think those three words, sustainable, resourceful, and frugal, those are some running themes that I'm going to talk about. And I particularly feel like I'm going to be moving into that in two different areas. One is going to be, retirement, preparing for retirement, preparing for what if I do need to stop working for whatever reason. And two, I've mentioned this before, we're buying a house, and we're waiting. Closing is on October 13th, and we're waiting for everything to be settled, and hopefully that'll go through. It looks good. But I also am going to use this new house that was built in 1938 as an example of being resourceful and frugal and sustainable. some of the upgrades we're going to do to the house to make it more environmentally friendly, to lessen our footprint in living, even down to the how I'm going to create a very full and rich, opulent lifestyle for myself and my family through my resourcefulness and frugality with an eye towards sustainability. I think all of these things play together. And again, I think they're so relevant when we get to this third stage of life, because we know we don't need those new shiny things. We know what's really important in our lives. And we also are looking to the future. And, I don't know about you, but I plan on living well over 100. So I have to find a lifestyle that I can maintain, not only be environmentally friendly, but to be financially frugal and reasonable, and still have a very, be happy and live joyfully. So these are things that I'm looking towards discussing and exploring a little bit more as we move forward, as I continue to vlog. And my intent is to offer value to help you be more resourceful and to live more sustainably. And, as I said, frugality, yay, I love that. I'm a huge fan of that. So these are things that I'm going to discuss a little bit more moving forward. So I'm going to finish this. I'm going to try to edit this video a little bit and hopefully offer more high quality videos to offer more value. Thank you so much for listening. Peace. And again, I can't turn this darn thing off. We'll try that again. Peace.